Everybody, welcome to another Daily Market Report brought to you by Mike Bjork. Today is Friday. It's February 27th, last day of the month. Hey, we're at the end here. We do got some updates on reverse mortgages for qualification purposes that may be very relevant to perhaps yourself or somebody you know, or maybe some clients of yours, as we have realtors who also listen to this broadcast. But now let's jump into the economic calendar. We got the second revision of GDP revision numbers for the fourth quarter. The final one will be coming out next month. So this is the second one. So the previous one reported was at 2.6%. Forecast is supposed to dip to 2%, but we did do a little bit better. It did dip, but not as bad as the forecast at 2.2. Fourth quarter or February numbers for Chicago PMI. This is the manufacturing in the Chicago region. We had a 59.4 in January, and it dropped to 45.8. This means because it's below 50, it's contraction, so it actually pulled back. They're actually basing a lot of this on weather as well as the Port of LA, the issues that were going on in Port of LA, which now seems to be going underway where they came to agreement. So for those of you who weren't aware of it, the Port of LA were having some between the longshoremen and the PMA, they're having some contracts that were up, and they're having negotiations. So what was resulting was that they're cutting back a lot of the hours of the longshoremen. So you would see, I live in the area, so you would see easily a good 10 ships sitting out there waiting to be docked and unloaded and reloaded and such. So it really backed things up a bit for the longshoremen. Because, or even actually for the ships out there. Thank God it's corrected, and we can hopefully get moving along the way. This will affect the overall economy here. So hopefully next few months you'll start seeing a pickup in the economy as a result of what we experience here on the West Coast here with the Port of LA. Onward, we got the consumer sentiment. This is the final revision for the month of February. So we had initially reported at 93.6 in February. The forecast was up to 94 and actually exceeded that to 95.4. But this is actually down from January, where we actually had a 98 in January, and it dropped a little bit from January's numbers. Pending home sales for the month of January. So back in December, we had a pullback of negative 3.7%, and as people kind of experienced the holiday sales, January jumped up a little bit, pending home sales up to 1.7%. So a decent number in that area. The one drawback here, obviously, is the Chicago PMI GDP revision. Obviously it was lower than the initial one, but it did do a little bit better. Consumer sentiment better than our initial reading, but still lower down from January's numbers. Currently, stock market's down based on a lot of these numbers. They're kind of looking at overall of them. The number they're going to be looking at, be prepared Monday, is going to be the ISM. They want to see what the manufacturing is. And we've been getting some not so good numbers in the manufacturing. So my feeling is be prepared for a bumpy ride in the equities markets as a result, because it may not come out as rosy as we would like it to be. As we had stated before, the PMA, the ports, the labor issues that are going on here on the West Coast is a part of it. We also had weather issues on the Midwest and East Coast that pulled back a bit. So be prepared to see maybe a lower level there. As a result, the bond market, yesterday we had a little bit of a spike. We had a bit of a sell-off in the bond market, but since then we pulled back up. So we're close to where we started yesterday's morning. Yesterday we were about 130. 101.30, and now we're about 101.26. So we're up from the reprice to the worst yesterday. So we do get better pricing based on that, but not quite as well as when we started the morning off yesterday at 101.30 yesterday. So, but it would be pretty similar pricing in that regards. All right, folks. Also regards to reverse mortgages. Reverse mortgages are going to be coming up with some new changes. It's supposed to take place in March, but it's going to be postponed for another 30, 60 days. What they're doing is they're going to make borrowers become eligible based on income as well as credit qualifications. So what they're looking at is if you don't really pass, you'll pass, but it's not going to be the end all. So let's say, for example, you do a credit and maybe you got some bad credit scores. They're not looking so much at the scores. What they're looking at is, are you showing a willingness to pay? And they want to make sure there's no issues like tax liens and judgments and these sort of things that could interfere, with the mortgage or your property, that maybe you get liens against the property, these type of things. So they're looking at the willingness to pay. If, for example, you have a tax lien or these type of things, these can usually be resolved. We can get those fixed, but they're going to be looking at that. Income, they're looking at, do you have enough income from Social Security or different avenues that you're getting income to cover your housing expenses? Are you able to cover your property tax? Are you able to cover your insurance and such? So they're looking at those residual incomes. Now, if you're short on some of those, there's, again, different ways they can work it. It's not going to be the end all, but it's something they're going to be looking a little bit more closely going forward. Now, because of this is going to be a new item here, look that underwriters, because it's very vague, the things that they were brought out, so it's going to be very vague. So expect to be a lot more conservative underwriting on these until they get a better feel and comfort level from what HUD is requesting on these. So just prepare yourselves for a little bit more stringent looks at these judgments on these files going forward, for at least for next few months until they get some better comfort levels on these. All right, folks, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you guys on Monday. Sorry for the long broadcast here. Bye.